we're going to begin with a growing shift in the fight against the pandemic as more states, blue states in particular, are pulling back on their mask mandates as daily COVID cases drop. Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom is ending California's indoor mask mandate later this month among vaccinated people. Another Democratic governor, Phil Murphy of New Jersey, has announced an end to school mask mandates starting next month, and several other states are doing the same. Overall, now 15 states and Washington, D.C. have a K-12 mask mandate in place. On the flip side, 8 states have banned those mandates. Nationwide, this, of course, has been a fiercely debated topic at school board meetings. Let's go now to Nikki Battiste, who spoke to some parents. Nikki, I'll tell you, I know New York is on the fence about school mandates, but parents are increasingly pro-vaccine but anti-mask, particularly for kids.
Tony, good morning. This is really a difficult decision for parents. New York's mandate will expire this week, and the governor is expected to make an announcement Wednesday about possibly ending it completely. But with low vaccination rates among children, some parents say the benefits of a mask-free classroom do not outweigh COVID risks.
This is a huge step back to normalcy for our kids.
New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy said his decision to drop a statewide school mask mandate is not a declaration of victory over the virus.
We're not going to manage COVID to zero. We have to learn how to live with COVID.
From the first week of January to the last week of the month, new student COVID cases in New Jersey dropped by nearly 80%, and new staff cases were down by more than 83%. That drop in cases is a national trend, too, with the 7-day national average of cases more than 60% lower than January's peak. It's why some health experts are suggesting it might be time to ease some restrictions, especially with tools like vaccines available.
You have a lot of people who've been infected who have some level of immunity for a period of time, and you have high vaccination rates. We can start to lean forward and take a little bit more risk.
But many parents are still concerned, as only about 22% of children aged 5 to 11 are fully vaccinated, significantly lower than the nearly 75% of adults.
It seems to be a recipe for disaster, sending them in without masks on.
Sabila Khan's 2 children are 1st and 4th graders in Jersey City, New Jersey's public school district.
I think that it's premature right now to start talking about getting rid of masks.
Health is a lot more than just COVID.
Dr. Carol Vidal, a child psychiatrist at Johns Hopkins, says it is time for students to take off their masks because so many have fallen behind.
How does a parent weigh the risk of COVID versus the risk of educational, emotional, social developmental loss?
It's really hard to measure right now the effects of masking all the time. I would expect that we would find that it's going to be causing harmful effects because we are not designed to communicate with masks.
But for Khan, whose children lost their grandfather to the virus in 2020, the threat of COVID outweighs those risks.
I'm much more concerned about their mental health as it relates to COVID loss and their stresses around COVID.
It's important to note that ultimately the decision whether or not to require masks is up to each respective school district. The CDC's current guidelines still recommend masks for all school students, teachers, and staff. The White House yesterday said it supports the CDC's guidelines, but reiterated that the decision is up to the districts, which has led to a patchwork of rules throughout the pandemic. Gayle?
It's great to see the COVID numbers going down. Thank you very much, Nikki.